What's up? Straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. Y'all hit the light when y'all come into the door. Hit the light when you come into the building. Gonna cook on a couple of things. Not gonna hold y'all too long. I just wanted to talk about these two subjects for a second. Want to give a shout out to all of my subs that's been rocking with me. Both my new subs. Okay. Appreciate y'all support, and as well as my day ones. Now, for my new subs, I've already told my old subs that I'm going through a little construction process with the channel and everything. I'm just asking that y'all be patient with me. Uh, I took a little bit of a break from YouTube for a little while, social media in general. But now I'm, getting back my feet wet, getting back into the groove. What's up, Ron? What's up, Ted? Oh, I see you rolling up, boy, rolling up. What you rolling up, man? You rolling up that GDP? You know what I'm saying? Rolling up that granddaddy perk. You know that boy rolling up that loud. You know what I'm saying? That boy rolling up that cookies and cream. You know what I'm saying? That cookies and cream supreme. Boy say you rolling up that lime. You know what I'm saying? They got so many. They got so many uh, types of weed now, man. You can't even keep up now. You know they got a different weed for everything now. You know what I'm saying? They got weed that'll make you amped up, be ready to fight. You know, they got the weed that want to make you mellow. You know what I'm saying? Just chill out. You got the weed. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know what I'm saying. If you're trying to get it off, you know what I'm saying. You got that weed that's gonna make you horny. You know what I'm saying? you got you got the weed, you know what I'm saying, that for medicinal purposes, of course, you know what I'm saying? You got all types of weed out there now, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just you can't just dummy it down no more, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you want to get it in and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Me myself, I ain't indulging in none of it, you know what I'm saying? But, to each is everybody own, you know what I'm saying? If you want to sit up there, hit that weed, be like, hit that fire, yeah, yeah, like mystical. Then you can do that, you know what I'm saying? What that nigga mystical say? Still smoking. Mm. Break it up, check it up, hit it up, take it, fill it out, roll it up, light it, hit it, pack, pop, over it up. You see, some of y'all niggas be talking about smoking. Now, salute to everybody. Make sure you hit the like button when you come into the building, man. It's at the top right corner. I wanted to discuss some things first and foremost. I'm going to talk about Ant-Man first, okay? Now, a lot of people have been getting on the internet and been kind of shutting down the comparisons, when it comes to Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, and when it comes to uh, the great Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, because they're not mentioning Kobe Bryant either. Um, the comparisons are legit. Okay, now I wanna preference myself, and I wanna make sure that I'm being very descriptive when I say this. Okay, I'm not saying that Anthony Edwards is on the level of MJ or Kobe, or he's better than MJ or Kobe, okay? I don't want any of. Please hit the like button when you come in. It's at the top right corner. Please show your boy some love, man. Show your boy some love, okay? Trying to get it in with y'all, man. Pause. Trying to get this work in. Um, Listen. If we're gonna talk about numbers, if we're talking about like numbers and accolades, accomplishments and stuff. Well, of course, Anthony Edwards. No, he's not what you would say. where MJ is, or where MJ was when he first came in. You know what I'm saying? It took him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But we're not gonna act like Anthony Edwards wasn't on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of his athleticism and stuff like that. He just had a few things that he had to iron out. Now, Michael Jordan struggled too. So did Kobe too. You gotta also remember too that Kobe Bryant, he sat the bench a couple of years, and it took Kobe a little bit, to really get familiar with the league and everything. But you saw potential, and even then, this is another point that I want to make. Okay, while everybody's sitting up in here saying, "Would you stop it with the comparison? He's not Michael Jordan." Blah 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 blah. Well, guess who they used to say that about? They used to say that the same thing about Kobe Bryant. And eventually they stopped talking about it. Man, I knew a dude one time, man, that okay, at first he hated Kobe Bryant. And I'll be like, well, why you hate Kobe Bryant? I remember we was having this argument. He hated Kobe Bryant. I was like, well, what's wrong with his shot? He could shoot, you know what I'm saying? He's good offensively. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, I don't like the fact that Kobe tried to emulate his game after Michael Jordan, even doing his tongue like Michael Jordan, all his gestures, blah 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 blah, and all this other stuff. He's shooting a fadeaway like him and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, everybody else tried to pick from Jordan and stuff like that. It's just that he happened to be the closest one to actually have a game that looks relatively similar more than the other players. When you come into the game, don't you try to be like the best? And he's like, man, I don't care, I don't like him, right? So Kobe ended up being successful. Please hit the like button when you come in. Hit that like button at the top right, please, for your boy, man. Show your boy some love. Okay, so he ended up being successful. The Lakers, they ended up winning. They ended up winning, like, three-peating and everything. And all of a sudden, I remember talking to him. This was before I had talked to him. He said all of this before he had started winning championships. Kobe, rather. This was before he started winning championships. That's what he said. After Kobe had won championships, he was like, "Yeah, man, I like Kobe." He's like, I thought you didn't like him. I was like, what you mean? He told me, what you mean? He's like, man, he's the best two guard in the league. I was like, well, I thought you didn't like him because, he was trying to be like Jordan and all that. He's like, well, man, hey, somebody got to try to be the greatest and all this other stuff. But he wasn't the only one that was doing that. Everybody was, like, even there were people in the media asking him if he patterned his game after Michael Jordan, stuff like that. Y'all got to realize that people they did not want anybody to, like, they wanted to compare somebody to Jordan, but they didn't want anybody to be better than Jordan. You know what I'm saying? They were like, trying to, call him the heir apparent and stuff like that. And people didn't like that. But after a while, then people, they stopped, talking about it or whatever. Of course, when he passed away, that's when you saw all the fake love coming to Kobe and stuff like that. But Kobe got the same kind of hate that was warranted back then, as they're trying, and I'm not going to say it's hate towards Anthony Edwards right now, but the comparison, they were the same. You know what I'm saying? They were saying the same thing, and my thing is this. It's kind of like a deja vu situation, because here you have a guy, he has similar attributes like Kobe Bryant and like Michael Jordan, but I'm not saying that he's better than them or he's at that level yet, but there are a lot of similarities, okay? And the things that you can say where it really there are the comparisons are legit is because when you take in the beginning of his career, without a doubt, he was out of control. He was turnover prone, and he shot a very low percentage. I get all of that. What's up with it, Stephen Green? I see you in the building. Lakers had the best three-peat over the Bulls. Whew. That's a debate, but we'll talk about that. You said is Ant-Man getting shoe deals? Yeah, he's with Adidas. He's already the Ant-Mans are nice. He already got a shoe deal out. The hottest shoes out right now are the Wimbies and the Ant-Mans, in my opinion. Those are the hottest shoes right now. Okay. Now, you said he plays like Michael Jordan and Gary Payton. I don't know about Gary Payton, but that brings up a good point, right? And what's up? Salute to you, Cottage. Make sure y'all go sub to the brother Cottage, and salute to Stephen Green too, man. Make sure y'all go sub to their pages, man. Run them up, okay? Now, and make sure y'all hit the like button when you're coming in here. It's at the top right corner. Please hit the like button. It's the three little dots. Now, the thing that make the things rather that make the comparisons legit is the fact that like I was saying in the beginning, you could take away his offensive game, like, you know what I'm saying, if you took away from him driving and stuff like that and made him a jump shooter and stuff, he wouldn't be able to shoot the mid-range. He wasn't that accurate. You know what I'm saying? He was very explosive, very athletic. He knew how to get to buckets and stuff like that. But that was pretty much the only thing, okay? Now, you have to be on guard because now he's worked on his jumper. He's got the mid-range and he's got the pull-up. And it's not true that if you take anything away from, that's one thing. If you take away, let's say he doesn't want to dunk or anything, Anthony Edwards has finishing moves as well. He's skilled and crafty enough, and it's only going to get better with time to finish around the rim. Okay, Michael Jordan was way better at it. You know what I'm saying? In terms, especially as using the rim as a shield and being able to finish with both hands. Anthony Edwards could finish with both hands. And he could drive left and he could drive right. He could do all of that stuff. And he doesn't have any problem with pulling up left or pulling up right. And he's only going to get better. Now, you take away offensive thing. Let me give you an example, okay? And I'm talking about in the playoffs, right? I'm talking about in the playoffs. Anthony Edwards, okay, you said how many rings can Edwards win? We'll have to see. But let's see how many rings he gets, because then the conversations are gonna go on. And Anthony Edwards, the thing about it is that Anthony Edwards doesn't even want to have these type of comparisons. He don't want any of these comparisons. You said Ant has an underrated bag. KD's bag wasn't great at 22. He needed work. I think they, KD was just naturally, he was a better shooter, a way better shooter than Anthony Edwards was. I mean, he was supremely gifted at putting the ball in the hole or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And KD did have moves. You know what I'm saying? He could cross over, had the step back, had the hezzo, all of that stuff. And what was more importantly was his wingspan and his length. That was very difficult to guard. Him being 6'9", 6'10", or whatever, and being able to pull up with that type of accuracy. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is Ant-Man, he's 6'4", 6'5". Now, okay, like, for instance, okay, this was another thing to get back to my point. Everybody wants to talk about, oh yeah, well, you take away his offense and everything like that. Well, what is he good for? That's not true, because Anthony Edwards is a defender, okay? think he's averaging like 1.5, 1.3 steals. Okay, he knows how to. He can get better, but he can read the pick and roll at his young ripe age. Okay, he's not the greatest at it at reading that pick and roll, but he can play that passing lane, and you cannot make any slip ups on that pick and roll, because he'll find that ball, and once he gets out in the open floor, which is what Jordan used to do, which is what Kobe used to do, the great creators, you name, there's other players too that used to do it. If you're a great explosive guard, you might as well forget about it. If you get out in the open floor, that's it. Anthony Edwards, you can't keep up with him. Michael Jordan ran a 4-3 or something like that. Anthony Edwards played football. he ran like a 4-3, 4-4 or something like that. He is very fast, man. You know what I'm saying? And that was the same thing with Jordan. I don't know how fast Kobe was, but Kobe was pretty quick and pretty fast or whatever. But I think Jordan was the faster of all of them. He was faster and more athletic. Thing about it is, you take away his offense, Ant-Man can get it done on defense. And he showed that several times, not only throughout the season when he wasn't having a good game, he could do other things to make up for what he wasn't doing. That's the same thing that Jordan used to do. That's the same thing that Kobe used to do. I'll stay on Kobe for a minute. Kobe used to have awful shooting nights, to the point where some people would be like, why are you still shooting the ball? I remember it. But guess what? Kobe would do other things. You couldn't get mad at him. You know why? Because he was playing the other end of the floor, exerting more effort on the floor, maybe getting rebounds, maybe getting steals, maybe cutting off his man, maybe being a disruptor, maybe diving on the floor, stuff like that. And that's what Anthony Edwards does. So those comparisons are legit for a lot of those reasons. Plus the first step. Okay? The first step. That's very important. Can you get by somebody? Now, LeBron earlier in his career, I don't like to make the and see, that's another thing. I'll get to that in just a second. I'll get to that in just a second. Hold on. I'm moving too fast. Let me say this before I get to that. What you talked about with LeBron, Ron. The thing about it is, Michael Jordan was known, like guys like Michael Jordan, guys like Vince Carter, guys like Kobe Bryant, guys like Tracy McGrady, they were known for their first step. All they needed was a couple of steps to get to the basket, and that was it. 1-2 dribbles, and that was it. And they could pretty much, they were so athletic and they get to the cup, you might as well forget about it. That's the thing with Anthony Edwards that separates him from a lot of guys. You have a lot of guys that, they'll be out on the perimeter, and, they'll be dancing with the rock and all that other stuff. Anthony Edwards is relatively simple. If you really look at his game, Anthony Edwards actually kind of keeps it more simple. He doesn't sit out there and just dance and shake and all that other stuff. He doesn't need to do any of that. You know why? Because he's so fast and gifted enough to get in the middle, and he can get in that lane. And a lot of guys, okay, everybody wants to talk about the fear factor. Let's talk about this, right? There is the fear factor for Anthony Edwards. You know why? Because he will leap and dunk over your ass. There is a fear factor for Anthony Edwards. There is a fear factor for Anthony Edwards to be 6'4", 6'5", and you don't expect that motherfucker to climb up over people. He has done it time and time again. So don't give me that nonsense about him not having no fear factor. He has a fear factor. Now, of course, Jordan, everybody feared Jordan, especially at the end of the game. And then on top of that, we're talking about the clutch factor. Is he going to get better with time? Yeah. But he already knows how to close. He knows how to close better. He knows how to close better than LeBron. And see, that's the thing. Going back to what Ron said, I don't like comparing LeBron to Jordan in terms of their basketball makeup, in terms of who they are as a basketball player, like their fundamentals, their skills and stuff like that, their skill set, because LeBron is an entirely different player than Michael Jordan. They don't even play the same style game. But Anthony Edwards, that's a fair comparison to Kobe Bryant and to Michael Jordan because they both play the shooting guard position. They both are around that 6'4" to 6'6", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" range. They all of them are explosive. Now LeBron was explosive and everything back in the days and stuff like that with the athleticism and stuff like that. But their mentality is the same too. Anthony wants it. He wants to smoke. So those are why the comparisons are legit, and I feel like, okay, you can compare them, but I'm not saying that Anthony Edwards is quite there yet. But there are some things there that make you think of a Kobe Bryant and think of a Michael Jordan. We'll see, man. I'm not going that far though. I'm not saying Minnesota will win the chip. This is another thing too. That I gotta talk about too. Let me read some of the comments too. Salute to you, K to J. Well, the thing about it is, and it's a fair comparison because of what he's doing. He's already at 22, getting. You got to think about it. The Minnesota Timberwolves had not been out of the first round since 2000. They haven't been to the second round since 2003, 2004 season. So that's a phenomenal thing. That says a lot. I know it ain't no championship, but damn, they've gotten over the hump. It took them like 20 years to actually advance. And not much credit, of course, is not given to Alex Rodriguez and the great team that they put together, a coach that they believed in Chris Finch, and then also the team members that they got there too. Like the Karl Anthony Towns, the Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley Jr. You know what I'm saying, the McDaniels, everybody else that's on the Najee, everybody. You know what I'm saying? He does have a good team, but the thing about it is this is where I want to put the icing on the cake on this right here. Everybody's like, oh yeah, well, he has a great team and stuff like that. They won without Rudy Gobert. That's one. They won without Rudy Gobert. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Should have been Wemby, but no shade there. They won without Cat. Okay? They won without Karl Anthony Towns. And that's the thing about Anthony Edwards. If you take Anthony Edwards off of that squad, 9 times out of 10, the Minnesota Timberwolves is not going to get it done. And that's no disrespect to McDaniels. I see the comparison with Booker helped to sign to the championship. But now look at him. Well, he helped to the championship, but he did not capitalize. He did not capitalize in key moments. And Booker's a great player. I don't see Kobe in Booker though. And Booker's he's a phenomenal shooter and everything like that. But I don't see Kobe in his game. He's not going to. He's not first stepping past people, elevating and rising over people. KJ. Booker is not Kobe, and it's no disrespect to Booker. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother Hitman. He knows how I feel about Booker. I like Booker's game and stuff like that, but he's not Kobe. Kobe relished the opportunity of a 7-footer being there on the baseline like a Dwight Howard to go ahead and dunk over you. He relished the opportunity of not only shooting, but being explosive and being able to dunk over Tim Duncan and David Robinson at the same time. He relished the opportunity to 360 in the open court over Jay Will and hand the ball to him. Booker does not do that. But Anthony Edwards, he's doing that type of shit. Ronnie knows because Ronnie is a Kobe fan. Ronnie's an MJ fan. Ronnie is a Lakers fan. He knows what I'm talking about. There's no, but Anthony Edwards, he salivates at the mouth to see somebody at the rim. That's what Jordan wanted. He wanted to see Ewing, who everybody was intimidated. Some people were intimidated by. He wanted to see Mutombo, who a lot of guys were intimidated by. He wanted to see Alonzo Mourning, who some guys were intimidated by. I could keep going. Everybody. Tree Rollins, you name it. It didn't matter, man. He was going to dunk over everybody. You were going to get it. And that's what Anthony Edwards is able to do. You said the Timberwolves is trash? No, they not. They got the best defense in the league. How are they trash and they swept the... How are the Timberwolves trash and they swept the Phoenix Suns? Oh, you said without... Well, they're not trash, but they're not going to win. They're not trash. They still got a good team. McDaniels can still hoop. But they're not trash. They're not going to be trash because you still got a guy in McDaniels that can score. He can play both ends of the floor, and you still got Rudy Gobert. There he's not getting exposed like that or anything this year. And Cat steps it up, tends to step it up or whatever. But I see what you're saying, though, Ron. But they're not trash. I just don't give them a bigger chance without Ant-Man winning. Yeah, the Wolves not trash. They got the best defense in the league, and that's Cap, Seth. That's Cap, brother. They're not trash. You can't be the number one defensive team in the league and be trash. To my knowledge, I think they were number one. They might have toggled a little bit, but they were number one at one point. But so those are some of the reasons. Those are some of the reasons that I feel like, nah, you capping again, Seth. They don't get no help from no refs. Yeah, like if they were gonna get help from the refs, then how come they didn't call the many fouls? And I'm talking to you, Seth. Just okay. You could talk to me. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. No, we don't bite around here. You know what I'm saying? But Seth, let's go ahead and tackle that argument. All right. Let's go ahead and tackle that argument. You're saying that they're getting help from the refs. Well, what about the multiple calls that Anthony Edwards did not get when he actually got hit several times through the lane? There were a lot of missed calls on Minnesota's end. Okay, and then on top of that, if we're gonna go there were plenty of missed calls throughout the series with the Knicks and the 76ers. I know with my squad, we didn't get a lot of calls. That's why Joel Embiid was kind of frustrated and everything. But and then one of the calls, we got robbed. We got robbed at the end of the game. You do remember that they didn't even give us our timeout when Nick Nurse was trying to call our timeout. So you're saying that Minnesota is getting help from the refs? That's cap, sir. They didn't help them sweep the Phoenix Suns. That was just pure grit and grind right there, sir. Okay, you ran up out of here. But see, that's the thing. When you call them out on that, you know what I'm saying? They want to run away from that. You said, yeah, the Timberwolves are legit. I mean, some people are looking at the Timberwolves. Shout out to Players' Choice with the homie Ticket, Chilltown, Mars, everybody that was on that panel. If they listening to this, I want them to hear this because I saw them talking about this on this segment. Ticket made a valid point. I think it might have been Chilltown too. They're doing what the 2020 version of the Lakers did. They have their size is so imposing. You have a guy in Karl Anthony Towns who's a 7-footer. You got Rudy Gobert who's a 7-footer. You got Najee, he's long. You know what I'm saying? And if you try to go to the lane, whether you're trying to dribble or whether you're trying to put the shot up, your shot is going to get distracted or it's going to get deflected or it's going to get straight up into the glass. What's up, Ashley Queen? I see you in the building. How you doing, sweetie? And I like Ashley thumbnail, man, going to that gun range. One day I'm gonna take y'all to the gun range with me. Ashley be going to that gun range. Wow. Salute to you, sweetie. I see you in here. Yeah, Garza is 7'2". Exactly. Exactly. So they have what y'all did, and you got to remember with the Lakers, when y'all won it in 2020 in the bubble. See, that was the stupidest thing that they could have did was break up that team right there. Listen, think about it. Conley Jr. is a seasoned vet like Rondo was. You know what I'm saying? You got a guy in Anthony Edwards and a supremely gifted scorer that could get through there, you know what I'm saying? And LeBron was doing his thing in the bubble too as well, all right? Then you got two to three solid postmen in there, you know what I'm saying? But for right now, we'll just stick with it was Anthony Davis and of course it was Dwight Howard, and then of course they had JaVale McGee. Well, you got you got Karl Anthony Towns and you got Rudy Gobert. And then on top of that, you got a guy in McDaniels. They had guys on that squad. You fill the void. You had KCP. You had Alex Caruso. you name it. You had it. You had guys that could actually fill that void. Of course, you had Danny Green. You know, you had different, very different guys at either the shooting guard or the small forward position that you could switch out and everything. And those guys could play defense too. And these guys could play defense too. McDaniel could play defense. You know what I'm saying? Conley Jr. could still play defense. Anthony Edwards, he could play defense. You said you're rusty. What you like to shoot with, girl? And don't tell me you be shooting with that with that standard old what's that? The standard cop gun, the 40 cal, the S&W. She be in there with a Glock 19, a Glock 17, something like that. Oh, she be the okay, 9mm. Okay. Oh, P320. Okay. I thought you would have been in the A. I thought you would have been outside toting something else. Toting some ARs or something. I wanted you to, well, the thing about it is for most women that are afraid of guns, you want to get you like a little starter pistol. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother subject. I know some people be getting scared, talking about that stuff. But it's real life, man. Shoot, you got people up in here. Like, shout out to Real Talk with Tamara. She was talking about how this girl killed a guy for $60 and some wings. I'm like, man. But those are the reasons why my comparisons are legit when it comes to Ant-Man, MJ, and Kobe Bryant. Now, some of y'all ain't old enough to remember Brian McKnight. You know what I'm saying? Brian McKnight, of course, R&B, classic R&B singer, man. Took the storms, pretty much, at the height of his career was in the 90s. He was that guy. And Brian McKnight also used to hoop too. A lot of people don't realize Brian McKnight used to play ball. He could hoop. Okay. But everybody's canceling Brian McKnight right now because when he tried to do a show and perform in Detroit, they canceled his show and they refunded the people's money, and they canceled Brian McKnight because of what he said on social media about his kids. Now, what's been going on with his kids, a lot of people don't really understand, okay? But let's just go ahead and go through the rundown real quick, and then I'll go ahead and I'll give my spiel. Brian Mcknight, who currently, he got, a few kids with his current wife right now, who's a pediatrician. You know what I'm saying? He's got, his stepkids, and then of course he's got his they just had a baby or whatnot, and he's showing more love to the stepchildren than he is his biological kids. Now his biological kids are Brian Jr., Nico, Clyde, and Brianna, who he had from a previous relationship. Okay, he had 3 kids by his ex-wife named Julie. Okay, what's up, Brown Sugar? I see you in here, beautiful. Now, Brianna, apparently, he's not even talking to, don't have no relationship with her or anything. And then he's also took to social media and basically had called his kid the product of sin and stuff, and made all these different references and stuff. And then also, now this is what Brian Mcknight has said. He has said that he had made some efforts because with his son Nico, who currently right now has stage 4 cancer, he had made attempts to try to help Nico, but from what he's saying is his ex-wife Julie has pretty much turned down his help and has said a whole bunch of different things. Now, this is my thing about the whole situation, okay? A lot of the stuff that the media is just being reported. We don't really know the inside detail, but I felt like him getting on social media and voicing what he voiced, that was a terrible look. Now, I know this, okay? If you're gonna sit up there and you're gonna, be a father, okay, that is your job, that is your duty, that is your obligation, that is your responsibility to take care of your kids. Now, granted, like when I talked about the Floyd Mayweather situation and stuff like that, you do have a lot of kids out here that will try to, go to their parents and stuff like that, try to get over on their parents, never pay their parents back, stuff like that. And then your parents will give you that cold shoulder, but not necessarily turning they full back on you. Okay, and what it sounds like to me is that Brian Mcknight had turned his back fully on his kids, and to me that's not right. What's up with it, Carl Ward? I see you in the building, bro. Salute to you, man. Thank you for stopping through, man. Listen, this isn't a social media thing. As a matter of fact, I know Tyrese, I know he feels the way that he feels. I feel the way that Tyrese feels, but that's not your business, dog. Okay? That's not your business. It's not your business for anything. And that's why I asked if everybody agreed with Tyrese. I agree with what Tyrese is saying. I feel how he feels, but it's not a place of social media. But unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. That's the world that we live in. Okay? Now, we don't know the full situation. We're just going by this. But I know because I got my 3 kids, you know what I'm saying? One, not biologically mine, but she's still my daughter regardless. I know even if she's not my blood or whatever, I'm dropping everything no matter what. Bam, I'm there. My kids, I'm dropping everything. Bam, I'm there. But I do give my kids, you got to give your kids, if for those of you that have kids, you'll understand what I'm saying. You do got to give your kids tough love sometimes. Like I make sure that my kid, if they want something, yeah, I'll give it to you, but you also got to earn some things too, because you don't want them to be spoiled brats or turn out to be spoiled brat. But in a case like this, when we talk about stage 4 cancer or whatever, if he is making an effort and she's shutting him down, because we got to look at the wife's direction too, the ex-wife direction too, because women do some evil things too, and they play sympathy towards the women too sometimes. If she's doing that, then she's just as evil. But the fact that he said what he said about his kids and everything, I don't think he should have said any of that. I don't think he should have said any of that. And that's my spill on it. It's like sometimes, yeah, look, man, and y'all might have your, hey, you're entitled to your own opinion on this. I'm not gonna get mad at anybody, but I'm just saying how I feel. You know what I'm saying? It hit close to home if you have kids, and even if you don't have kids, you know what I'm saying? You've been a child, you have a parent, and you got to think about it. You know what I'm saying? That relationship that you've had with your parents and everything. So in this situation, man, the best thing that he could do is get everything together now. You're not old. You know what I'm saying? You 54 years old. You know what I'm saying? And Ted, I know what Ted about to say. Oh, that's old. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to hear that, man, because you seen Daryl Green at 60 years old backpedaling and doing sprints and also also out there on the football field and everything at 60 years old. So I don't want to hear that about 54 being old. It's not old. So you have enough. God knows how much time you have, but you're living right now. Go ahead and make that right. Go ahead and make it right. All you got to do is just a simple sit down. If not, you're gonna have to, handle it the legal way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if your ex-wife is doing that from seeing your seed, who could potentially transition at any time, being in the state that he's in, she's gonna live with that guilt forever. Everybody's gonna have that on their conscience, and guess who they're gonna try to finger point? They're gonna finger point in your direction. They're gonna try to finger point in your direction. And facts, Ted, we do live in that world. So all I'm saying, man, it's a very touchy situation, and I happen to like Brian Mcknight. Now I heard a few things about him. I don't want to get into all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know some people have they whole little thing about Brian Knight, but I remember seeing Brian Mcknight play ball. Like I remember him playing ball. That's what made me come on. My mom used to be into his music and stuff like that, and I remember seeing him hoop. I like, damn, Brian Mcknight could hoop like that. You know what I'm saying? Him, you know what I'm saying? I remember seeing R. Kelly, all them. Yeah, but like this, this situation right here is serious though, Ted, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really serious, man. And whatever, because this guy right here, man, he's really got some stuff that he got to do. Yeah, man, whatever he doing, man, that's his life, man. I don't try to get in it. Look, man, what your sexuality is, man, that's what you do. But in this situation right here, whether you gay, whether you straight, whether you bi, you know what I'm saying, bi-curious, man, let's be honest, whatever, fruity, all that other stuff, your kids are going to be your kids, regardless. You put them out here on this earth. You living above this surface right now. That's what the most important thing is, because you ain't going to be living forever. When the man, if his child is gone and his child is transitioned, we're not gonna be talking about whether he fruity or not, or this guy gay or any of that, man. What we gonna be talking about is the real issues and stuff. And this right here is a real issue. This is a real issue that's going on in our society. People not talking to one another because of a mole in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And me, myself, personally, I think the ex-wife is a mole. Yeah, man. But see, when it happens to you and the shoe is on the other foot or whatever, then you got to think long and hard about, what you're saying. You're not going to be thinking about somebody, if they in the closet or if they out of the closet, all that other stuff, man. Nah, this shit right here, we talking about a guy that could potentially lose his life in cancer. And trust me, I know, because I've had people that lost cancer. lost their battle to cancer. So that's the first thing that he needs to address. He needs to get that situation right. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that they're gonna be talking about is, oh well, hey son, I got something to tell you. You know, I'm this way or I'm that way. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing they're gonna be talking about. Man, look, I'm not looking into anything too much. I'm telling you how I really feel about this situation. You know, so and if we're having a serious conversation, uh, look, if listen, you got to know when to play and when not to play. And right now, this situation, man, this is really serious. So if you don't like this conversation, or this conversation is too deep for you, or want to throw in, because I like, really honestly, when we talk about stage 4, that ain't something I'm playing with, dog. You know what I'm saying? That ain't something to play with, because if it happens to you or happens to somebody else, people, I know people on here that done lost people, stuff like that. They might not want to joke around like that, man. For real. So if it's too deep for you to have, and I am gonna look at it in a deep situation like this, because it hits home, man. It really hits home. This is a situation where, like, what if one of them people die or whatever? Some of y'all might be like, oh yeah, well, oh well, he dead and all this other stuff. But a lot of people ain't gonna look at it like that though. A lot of people ain't gonna look at it like though, and it's not no, whether I'm emotional or looking deep into it or anything like that. But this right here. I'm not looking at it, oh, if the guy is fruity or not, or the guy is gay or any of that. What I'm looking at is the principle of the whole principality of everything, which is this guy got 4 kids in which he hasn't spoken to, and he's criticizing online, and he hasn't spoken to one of them in God knows how long or whatever. And another situation might be where his ex-wife might be the cause of everything, of his son not being able to see his dad, and this dude is sick. Yeah, man, like, but then when you laid up in the hospital bed, when you when you about to lose your life, ain't nobody gonna be thinking about whether you fruity or you gay or all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm on that type of time, I'm gonna talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And if he is, hey, more power to him. You know what I'm saying? But right now, nah, I don't think they talking about that. I don't think they talking about that. I want to know from y'all, like, not if the guy is fruity, okay? Not if the guy is fruity. Let me stress that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta simplify this mug. Not if the guy's fruity, but I want to know from y'all how y'all truly feel about this situation. Who's in the wrong? Who's in the right? How do y'all feel about this? Aside from how this guy lives, okay? I'm talking about him just as a responsibility. Yeah, I gotta stress that, man, because this is. How do y'all feel? Let's have real legit conversation about this. Okay, who needs to make up? You talking about the kids or the ex-wife or just all of them? Yeah, I mean, it's easier. Okay, so okay, if it's in the case of a situation, let me ask you this: in the case of a situation where his ex-wife won't allow him to see Nico, who has stage 4 cancer, what do you think? What do you think should be done in that situation right there? And not that I'm ignoring all the rest of the stuff, but this situation right here, man, that whole situation right there, because this guy, he said his dying wish, his dying wish, he should be able to see his son. Okay, you're right. His dying wish, man, was for his father to at least come and see him and tell him that he loved him. That's what his dying wish is. So if the ex-wife ain't telling him, I mean, if the ex-wife ain't allowing him to see him, then something's up with that. But like I said, we don't know. I don't know what's truly going on. I don't know what went on in the past. Maybe he did something to her that was real foul, and vice versa. We don't know that situation. But like Ted was saying, I agree with that. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, that ex-wife, man, I don't think. Listen, I know this is gonna rub some people the wrong way. I don't think it's all Brian Mcknight's fault for the way that he's feeling. But if he's turning his back on his kids and the ex-wife has given him opportunity to see him and stuff like that, then okay, then he wrong. But if she's salty because this man done moved on with the pediatrician and got a new family and everything like that, then that's on her. That's on her. I agree. I agree with you. Because a lot of people are, like I said, I don't know if y'all know this, but they canceled the show over there in Detroit. They canceled the show, which means they probably gonna block him everywhere that he goes now, just like they about to do with Drake and all that. You know what I'm saying? They probably finna cancel Brian Mcknight because of the social media and everything. Well, it do, you don't you it doesn't take you to tell me that to understand that. That's what I just said. I said we don't truly know what's going on. You know what I'm saying, behind the scenes. That's why I'm playing. I'm looking at it from both ends. You know what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. There should be no reason that the child should be talking like that at all. And to me, I don't think. I would hope not. I would hope Brian McKnight got more sense than to not turn his back on a child who's about to exit this life, man. It is heartbreaking, man. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, man, y'all done been through it before. Let's not like play. Let's not like play like some of y'all haven't experienced this before. Some of y'all might have. Some of y'all might haven't. But I'm talking about, okay, when a person transitioned and you had all this built up anger towards them, all this all this nonsense that y'all could have put to a side and everything, and just hashed it out, moved furniture, did whatever. But then that person ends up going away. You know what I'm saying? They end up losing their life. Then that same person that had all this anger and grudges and stuff like that towards them, guess what? They over there, they be the first one hollering and screaming at the funeral and stuff like that. They be the first ones hollering and screaming at the funeral, man. And then everybody looking at you like you crazy because you were the one that could have went to that person and could have made things right before they left. So that's what this situation could potentially evolve into. I've seen it, man. I've seen it plenty of times. This guy don't want to talk to this guy, or that girl don't want to talk to that girl, or whatever. That somebody end up losing their life or whatever. They'd be the first ones. Oh no, and all this other stuff. But we looking at you. We like, man, you could have handled that several different ways. So I wanted to speak my piece on it, man. Brian Mcknight, bro. If you turning your back on your kids, man, I think it's wrong. But at the same token, if the ex-wife is doing what she doing, Tupac, my anger would not let me feel for a stranger. If she feeling some type of way, man, about him moving on and stuff like that, she gonna pay the price for that. That's all I'm saying. Right now, everybody canceling Brian. You know what I'm saying? They giving him the Jesus treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, they hated on Jesus, but at the same token, like, we have to look at it, on both flips of the coin. And I don't feel that something is just telling me, that Brian Mcknight is not doing what everybody is saying that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? In terms of his turning his back on his kids or whatever. Brian ain't made his in 20 years. Man, it's not about making no hit. You ain't worried about him making no hit, man. He talking about seeing the kid, man. Right now, music. Ain't nobody worried about no music, man. I mean, we know him, as a singer and everything, but let's just be honest, man. Like, some people ain't even really, like, a lot of these people that's in here, man, they don't even know who Brian Mcknight is. But yeah, man, I ain't got, like, but they would just, man, they been, like, you got Tyrese getting on here saying this and saying that. I think Ricky Smiley. All the situation, man, it just need to be nipped in the bud. But yo, I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. Let me go ahead and bounce out, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, top right corner, man. Share the video, man. Share the video. And salute to y'all. Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.